He could be the next Conor McGregor star.
I want that world title. All laugh all you want and say I'll never be champ. You gang of mushrooms.
Like that kind of a star where the whole
He
world's
has
watching.
that weird personality.
Yes.
Yeah, he has that.
Well, he's very disarming because people, they see, I talked about this in the last pay-per-view. I said it's a very sneaky trick because guys like you look at you, the way you carry yourself, that's a fighter. Like you look at that guy's a dangerous motherfucker. But when you see Paddy, he's dancing like this, his hair is flopping around like he's in the Beatles.
The hardest on the gym, it's just 5 minutes of getting sucked down, beat up, get a little glimpse of hope to get up, and end up catching a knee or an elbow. So hardest on the gym, but till you get better.
It's like where I'm like weird timing myself. He's even weirder. It's hard to deal with, but he's the best for a reason. It's only going to make me better. Perfect training partner for me.
If this is the start of this camp, fuck me. What's he going to look like?
Joe Rogan has just reacted to shocking new training footage coming out of Paddy Pimblett's camp, and it has the MMA world completely divided ahead of his fight with Justin Gaethje. But this isn't ordinary training footage. It shows Pimblett being submerged, held under pressure, pushed to his absolute limits, and forced to stay calm while his body screams to panic. And according to sources close to the camp, this isn't just for show. This is Paddy preparing for the most dangerous fight of his career. Justin Gaethje, a man who doesn't play games, doesn't dance around, and doesn't give his opponents a moment to breathe. Joe Rogan has spoken for years about how Gaethje breaks fighters mentally before he ever breaks them physically. And that's exactly why this fight feels so different.
More skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his haircut and the way he talks. And when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion. And then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
I think Paddy's going to beat Justin Gaethje.
Easy.
Wow. Really easy?
Yeah, easy.
That's a crazy thing to say because Justin Gaethje's a fucking animal.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to grapple, and Paddy knows
But he's a Division I wrestler. He knows how to grapple. You don't think he knows how to grapple? He just chooses not to.
Did you ever saw him submitting someone?
I don't believe he's ever submitted someone, but I think that's because he likes to just crush people.
If you have the ability to submit someone as soon as you can, you would do it.
Damn, what could be next for Paddy? Ilya says he thinks Paddy kills Justin Gaethje. I don't think kill him, dude. Justin Gaethje is so fucking solid. But again, a 5-round fight, 2, 3, 4 rounds into the match, and Paddy does score a takedown. Now he's got maybe Justin Gaethje on his back in half guard.
That's very plausible. Justin forgets he fucking wrestled.
He definitely trains it, but you could see why Ilya thinks that a little bit. Plus, Justin Gaethje's 36, Paddy Pimblett's 30 years old. But again, you can't count Justin Gaethje out. He could knock Paddy the
He's facing someone who thrives in chaos. Stylistically, this matchup is terrifying. Gaethje is pressure, leg kicks, brutal boxing, and relentless forward movement. He doesn't need to be perfect, he just needs to land a shot or two and make you uncomfortable. Pimblett, on the other hand, excels when fights get scrappy. He enjoys chaos too, but in a completely different way. He needs grappling exchanges, moments to reset, and opportunities where his creativity can shine. And that's the big question. Can Pimblett survive long enough to turn this into his kind of fight? Because if this fight stays standing too long, if Gaethje starts chopping the legs early and forcing exchanges in the pocket, it could get very ugly, very fast. That's why this new footage matters. It's not about looking tough, it's about preparing Pimblett mentally for discomfort, panic, exhaustion, and relentless pressure.
Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? So there's something that goes on in England. This is Paddy's gym. Paddy enters this thing every year. It's called something. And then they have a king of the mat. It's a grappling tournament, but they have this thing, this king of the mat. Paddy was in the finals a year ago, and after an hour, they just stopped the match and called it a draw. So he was a co-champion. So whatever this thing is, it's a thing that matters to him. So he enters it, I guess, over the weekend. I guess. And he ends up getting beat. Now, one of the reasons it's so cool is I don't think you have heard about it. One of the reasons I think it's so cool is there's no other sport where this would happen. One of the reasons I think it's so cool is it doesn't matter. And that's one cool thing about our community. Like if a guy like Paddy wants to go out there and take a risk and do something like this, he can chalk that up to a tremendous victory. He can also chalk that up to a workout. And you know what? We need to keep it that way. It's one thing that we have done very well as a group, and there's no other sport that's like that. You will never hear of a time that LeBron drops in for a one-on-one with the college star. He just couldn't take the risk. He just simply could not take the risk. This happened when I was a kid. It was to John McEnroe in Oregon. This was before the internet was a thing, but John McEnroe came out and he played somebody. We had some high school star down in, it was down in Eastern Oregon. I want to say maybe Pendleton. At any rate, the guy beat him. Our high school star beat McEnroe, and this was a thing. This was a thing. But it's one of these reasons why you can't ever get that. Like, you were left to believe that the NBA is better than the NCAA. You're led to believe the NFL is better than college football. I'm sure you're right, but there's exceptions, and there's certain positions at certain times where there are exceptions. You will never know. Those guys will never take the risk. They will never take to the field. They will never take to a three-point stance and go, they'll just never do it. On the outside chance that somebody's filming and somebody puts it, it's one of those things. And you get guys that love to compete. I mean, I got one resentment towards our sport. One, which is that we only do it 3 times a year. I mean, I can't even tell you the lack of respect that I have for a guy that misses a martial art.
Because Gaethje brings all of that and more. The MMA community is completely split. Some believe Pimblett's confidence, durability, and submission game could shock the world. They think if he can drag Gaethje into deep waters, secure a neck, or force a scramble, anything is possible.
Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett should not be for an interim title. So it was announced that Justin and Paddy will be fighting in January as UFC 324's headliner, and as much as I like this matchup, I have a problem with it being for an interim title. Because champion Ilia Topuria says he won't be fighting in the first quarter of 2026 due to personal reasons, so he expects to make his return around spring. So not only do I think that is not too long enough to warrant an interim title fight, but it also feels wrong to have this fight without Arman Tsarukyan in it. This is a belt for the third best fighter in the division, and honestly, it may not even be for the third best when we consider fighters like Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. This is something the UFC did to appease Justin, who has basically said he's only fighting for UFC gold, and for Paddy, who the promotion wants to see become a champion. Overall, great fight, and I'm going to side with Paddy on this one as I think Justin is past his best days, but yeah, this should not be for an interim title. But what do you—
This could be one of the biggest upsets in recent UFC history. Others believe this is where the hype train completely derails. Because if Pimblett loses here, it's not just a loss, it's a reality check. It changes his entire trajectory. No more talk of title runs. No more easy matchups. Just the harsh truth of what elite lightweight competition really looks like. And for Gaethje, this fight is about protecting his legacy. Lose to Paddy Pimblett, and suddenly everything he's built is questioned. Win, and he reminds everyone exactly why he's been one of the most feared fighters in the division for years. That's why the pressure is massive on both sides. Joe Rogan has always said that fights like this expose who you really are, not when things are easy, not when the crowd loves you, but when someone is trying to take your head off and refuses to back down. Pimblett knows what's at stake, Gaethje knows why he's here, and after seeing that footage, one thing is clear, this fight isn't hype anymore. This fight is real.